Hi guys, my name is Carlos. I'm the assistant beverage manager here at Cool Office. Guys, later on we're gonna make the cocktail, but for now this is the preparation for the apples, the apple slices. You probably received the PUCK ROYALE recipe. Within this recipe you'll find a few prep that has to be done beforehand. So guys, step one for this cocktail masterclass, we're gonna jump on the simple syrup, and it's called a simple syrup because it's really easy to make. And it follows a recipe of an equal part ratio. In this case, we're gonna start with a tea. So it's basically water and spices. For this one here, we decided to go with fresh cinnamon barks. But you really can use some cloves. You can use some allspices, nutmeg, something really nice that pairs the apples in terms of flavor. So we can make something really cool out of it. So let's say in this case I have like about 300 mils and 20% is fresh cinnamon. So yeah, I let them infuse for a while. I just take them. So in the recipe it says to boil it with the cinnamon. You could do, in this case I just bypass the same thing. I'm just going to reboil it so I can add the sugar on. Let me just turn on the heater. And we are going to add here. We're just going to strain it. So we just want the water. And because in the future you can easily reuse the cinnamon later on. If you re-dry the cinnamon, it's something we can reuse as well. So we have a water, cinnamon water here. This is to the top. We're just going to add it. And we'll get back to you when it's boiling. So guys, while you guys are waiting for the water to boil, the cinnamon tea to boil, we're gonna go through this. The idea is to, again, make it equal parts. So out of that water, I'm gonna use 150 mils of the cinnamon tea and 150 grams of sugar, castered sugar. So really easy, you put them together. We will mix them, and you will see until it gets clear. It's really easy. And the reason why is, Carlos, can we buy a cinnamon syrup pre-made? Yes, you can. You're gonna get a flavor. We have one here that we use. It's a French syrup. It's really nice. The difference is they add some colorings. And one of the tips of this masterclass is we want to show that we want to have control on the color. Color is really important in mixology. We want to make it look good, appealing, it looks lighter, and the more color, the cloudier, and it's just something a bit more sophisticated to work with. And you will see the difference in terms of color. It's much lighter. It will pair really well with the prosecco, with the gin, so we'll have a very light and easy looking cocktail to go with. There you go. You're gonna take this water, I'm gonna pour it somewhere. Just be careful, it's quite hot. Just a little bit, just enough, for about 150 mils. And we're gonna pour the tea. Be careful because it's really hot. So I suggest you to put it at the bottom. So 150 mils. I have 150 grams here, and we're just gonna pour the whole thing. Here we go. And that's it, it's pretty much done. Now the only thing we need to do is just to mix it until it gets clear. So you're gonna see the sugar, it will crystallize in about 2 minutes, and everything will get very clear, really light looking. So let's see if I missed a bit. No, fantastic. I'm just gonna taste it. Delicious. So as you can see, pretty clear, you see through. Beautiful. But for the apples, because we want them as a garnish, we need to make them to have them crisp. We need to have them a bit, have them like really nice way, quite dry, so it would just float on top of the cocktail. So the best way to make them would be to take an apple and to just cut them. I'm gonna put this on the side, and we just cut them nicely. The thinner, the better. And obviously you can use a mandolin, which is the best way to cut these apples, and to be more consistent on the way you prepare them. we take them, we put them in the oven, and we dry them for about an hour or two, and low heat, obviously, because we don't want to burn them. We just want to get rid of the water and keep the nice structure of the apple. The longer the better, so you can go up to a day. If you do it at night, the day after, it should be ready. And today we're going to be making the PUCK ROYALE, which is a little twist on a few famous cocktails. In this case, we're going to be using the new PUCK coupe from Tom Dixon. So we finished the simple syrup, the cinnamon syrup, and now we're going to make the cordial. The main difference between a cordial and a syrup is the level of acidity. Syrup doesn't have any acidity because it's just sugar, equal parts sugar and water. But most cordials, they have some citric acid, which is the main ingredient, the main component from lemons or any citrus you find in the market. In this case, we want to replicate this without using lemon or lime and using any citric acid. So we're going to be using cider vinegar. We're going to do this an equal part. So I have here, you just put them on the side. We're going to do the same. So 150 mils of, 150 mils, just 50 mils in this case of cider vinegar. And by the way, the cider vinegar, I ask to be clear or unfiltered. Most cider vinegars, they come cloudy. And again, for this cocktail, because we want something really light, really sophisticated, we want something clear. So we keep this. This is clear, and the rest is all clear. So something really, really nice to consider. Our house-made cinnamon syrup. There you go. I'm gonna put this here. And that's pretty much it. Close it. We shake it. And then we have a fermented apple cordial. Fantastic. So for the last step, we're going to make the cocktail. And really, this is the PUCK ROYALE recipe. So most cocktails with the name finishing with Royale, back in the days, it was a little twist on an existing cocktail. So in this case, it's usually a gimlet, which is equal part gin, citrus, and sugar. And then we're going to add a bit of fizziness to the top. So really, it's all about choosing your favorite bubbles. It could be Prosecco, Champagne, English sparkling wine, Franciacorta. It really depends. Your favorite one. In this case, we're going to use a Prosecco because it's really easy and probably more accessible. So let's go with the PUCK ROYALE. First trick to consider is to chill the glass. And the reason why we want to chill the glass because we want to keep the temperature cold. Since it comes out of a mixing glass cold, I want to keep the same temperature. So it's really nice, really pleasant to have. And the perception of the sweetness coming from the syrup disappears when it's cold. When it's hot, it's different. So yeah, and mixing glass as well. We want it ice cold. I'm gonna put it here. We stir it a bit. I'm going to strain it. I don't want the water, I just want the ice itself. Fantastic. Beautiful. So, one more trick. We always start with the cheapest ingredients. This is a tip that most bartenders know in the industry. And the main reason is because if we make a mistake, it's really easy to amend, to rectify, to change. Where in this case, if you start in this case, but most of the cases, if they start with gin, with the alcohol, the booze itself, it's really hard to change if you make a little mistake. So what would be the cheapest ingredient in this case? It would be our fermented apple cordial. So since we're making for 2 serves, we're going to make 50 mils? So 50 mils of the, it's 25 mils per glass, so 50 mils of the apple cordial. We want to keep this clear. We want to make something, but you still want to taste the apple coming through it. I'm not using apple juice. I'm not using anything like this. I'm using something a bit more sophisticated, which is manzana verde. It's a liqueur made of green apples. This one is a French. I recommend it too, a French and a Spanish one. And the main reason is because they distilled and they get the flavor from the apples, and you still get, it's actually delicious. It smells really nice, and you still have the clear side of it. So it's 10 mils for 20 mils of that. I'm gonna add 20 mils of that. And last but not least, the gin. In the recipe, it's Plymouth gin. We use Plymouth gin at Call Office, and the main reason is because it's very versatile. It's really nice to play with. You still got the juniper and the citrus aromas that will look into a gin, but really you can use any dry gin. We have a few. For this instance, we're going to use some Vezterro. They've been making this for a very long time in London. So 45 of each. So in this case, 2 measures, and then we're going to stir. We get rid of the glasses, or the ice in the glass. Let's put this on the side here. And that's it. Silky, a bit pale, beautiful. And the last part, of course, the prosecco. So this is one that we've been using. This is prosecco, the house prosecco from Call Office. So we're just going to top it up a little bit, just to make it a bit more festive, obviously for the season. There we go. Beautiful. So the garnish is ready, so let's top it up. A lot of people like to have it a bit more refined, so they keep it that way. But if you want a little touch of beauty, something a bit more natural, you can just add some apples, so they will have a clue of what they're drinking and what kind of flavors is it. Cheers. Fantastic.